Hey, this is Matt. Once again, welcome back to another videos, another request for Bronson. Thank you so much for that. For those interested in requesting any type of videos, feel free to send it either directly to my PayPal or join my Patreon. Both links are down below in the info box. And this is for the film Joe Dirt from 2001, which is one of those films that I never loved, but I don't hate this film either. It's not my favorite David Spade film, because I do like David Spade. I like him and his work with Chris Farley in Tommy Boy and Black Sheep. And I have liked a couple of films he starred in, and I'm looking over there because I have a few of his DVDs over there. The Dickie Roberts, former child star. I think that's a pretty fun movie. Lost and Found, that was okay. It was alright. It's not memorable, but it was okay. I liked his work in the first Grown Ups movie. And yeah, of that group, of Adam Sandler group, he's one of the guys I do rather like. And this one, listen, I don't love. It's definitely one of his more popular movies in his solo career, to the point that eventually there was a sequel, which is a terrible, unnecessary sequel. Does this one, I thought at least had a bit of heart to it, in its weird way, with how Joe Dirt's character is very upbeat about his plight. And you can kind of see how the audience within the film kind of hear about this guy and kind of cheer for him because of how upbeat he is, despite all the stuff going on. And like I said, there's a little bit of a sweetness and heart to it, despite some of the lowbrow jokes, shit jokes, things of that nature scattered throughout it. So David Spade's Joe Dirt's got this crazy mullet because it's a wig, because something about the top part of his head, something had happened, so you have this wig here. And even someone goes, "Why you cut it?" I don't know, never thought of it. And he still doesn't cut it. The film also features Christopher Walken, Kid Rock, Dennis Miller, Joe Don Baker, Adam Beach, Brian Thompson. So some familiar faces, and definitely a weird cast when you say it out loud. So pretty much David Spade's character, he's a janitor at this radio station driving this real piece of shit car. And as he's a janitor, someone goes, "Oh, you gotta check out this." And it's Dennis Miller as this kind of shock jock radio guy. And Dennis Miller, I kind of think this is how he is in real life. The way he talks like this, just completely talking shit about the guy. And I gotta talk about the freak just plopped in my lap. Just verbally annihilating Joe Dirt's character. On the flip side, Joe seems like an innocent redneck type of guy. And pretty much he tells a story about his family abandoning him at the Grand Canyon, just going through life, and all the little misadventures and people that he meets along the way during his goal ultimately to find his parents. Now, number one does have a very good soundtrack with a variety of different, from Leonard Skinner to all sorts of bands in there, that complements the film very well. Now, all the humor doesn't work for me and my taste in humor, whether it be, okay, he's putting, when he was a kid, he puts bottle rockets on the tails of cows so that when they fart, a burst of flame comes and hits him in the face. Okay. Or this woman is he's going to stay with her for a bit, and her dog keeps humping him, and he's like, "Can it stop?" We'll wait till it's finished. He finds a meteor, and you kind of find out it's not a meteor, it's a bunch of frozen hunk of crap. There's a peanut. Oh, that's a space peanut. There's a bit where this doll's nuts are frozen to a porch, and they repeat this gag where the dog goes up, but the nuts are frozen to the porch, and it stretches like fucking Stretch Armstrong, and he saves it. So really, it wasn't so much the comedy. The comedy I didn't find that funny. It's more the character, and I like the character more than the humor. I don't know if that makes sense. The character Joe Dirt, despite all this, because he keeps this kind of upbeat sensibility about him, he doesn't let things get him down. And he meets this lady, and they have a nice friendship that blossoms, and it's a very beautiful lady, and like she likes him, but to him, like he'll say, "Oh, she's way too good for me," so I don't even think about that. Which is kind of a heartwarming thought. Makes the character more likable in a way. Oh, she's way out of my league. And because of that, and because the other cast, like Dennis Miller does good for what he needs to do, Christopher Walken shows up later on as his mob guy that's in witness protection and hiding as his janitor of the school. But he's keeping his identity secret. And Joe Dirt's trying to talk to him. You're from here? Louisiana? Yeah, born and raised. Even though he's talking his out like someone from New York. And, Christopher Walken shines in a lot of stuff. Like, he's trying to talk tough. He's talking to, like, a fire extinguisher or something. He's like, huh? Say it. What was it? Your mother's soul? Huh? Which I don't even know what the fuck that means. It's an insult or whatever. And, like, some of these incidents, like, that bit was kind of funny. Where Christopher Walken saves some kids. He doesn't want his identity known, so he gives it to Joe Dirt, but then Joe Dirt does the honest thing, but inadvertently gets Walken in trouble. Or there's a bit where Brian Thompson, who's the villain in Cobra, the night slasher, he's Buffalo Bob, and he's like this really nice guy. Then it turns to a bit from Silence of the Lambs. The Loshana Scanner gets the hose again. And Joker's like, fine, say it. Don't spray, don't spray, brother. Dang. And he's all fine and dandy, and how dear am I? And he gets his auto parts magazine. All right. And he hears scuffle going on. It's the FBI. Hey, put some dirt in the hole. Like those, it was more entertaining to me than the raunch stuff. This is just not usually my cup of tea in terms of humor. Like if I tell you my favorite comedies, The Golden Child, Ghostbusters, See No Evil, Hear No Evil, Jumpin' Jack Flash, Three Men and the Baby, Crocodile Dundee, Friday, Clerks, and No Discernible Order, Planes, Trains, Automobiles, Stripes. It's either more slapstick or more verbiage in terms of dialogue, and it's not so much shit jokes or nuts frozen on a Porsche jokes or things of that nature. So like I said, the way the cats interact with each other, Kid Rock as this bully who picks on Joe Dirt and lies to him and says this girl doesn't want anything to do with him, just being a dick. Which, from what I heard, Kid Rock really is a dick. I don't know if that's true or not. But he plays it very well. Like for like the slapstick here with the alligator farm, there's a bit where he's teaching people there. And he puts his head in the alligator and it grabs him. And it's like, you didn't listen to me. He gets thrown. Oh, god dang. Like that made me chuckle, and because that's more my kind of humor. So I guess you could say there's a different kind of lowbrow humor. That's just more my lowbrow humor. So take that for what you will. But yeah, the film. Like I said, the film itself, it's more I like the character, and I want to see his journey succeed because he's a likable character. Mixed in with some pretty decent soundtrack bits. The way he interacts with like Adam Beach, this Native American who sells fireworks, and Jolder's trying to teach him, well, you have the wrong fireworks, man. No, you can't have no in your heart, brother. Life's a garden, dig it? So again, it's his interactions with people like Adam Beach and Christopher Walken, or the girl he likes, Brandy. People like Dennis Miller and Walken playing their roles well for what among the rest of the movie, the little screen time they have. Fred Ward, may he rest in peace, he pops in because later on, spoiler, Jolder does find his parents, but you come to find out that his parents did abandon him on purpose, and the only reason they reached out is to try to get some money from his recent fame. Even some of the bits there where early on when Brandy tried to protect him and they call her and she says, I found that your parents were dead. I'm sorry, Joe. I didn't want to hurt you. And they let the scene breathe. Where Dennis Miller goes, hey, let's cut to a break, okay? And then Joe Dirt gets up and he walks out. Like, they let the scene breathe. They don't immediately cut it in with some joke or some off-color joke. So that's what I mean. That's why, compared to the second film, I appreciate this more because of scenes like that. So again, it's more of the character itself. I think has a nice little beating heart to it that I think helped make this a cult following. Despite some, people may laugh at the other jokes I didn't, and more so. But I think there's something to be said about that. And so it makes the character a bit more endearing. So it's not my favorite by far. Again, I mentioned the David Spade films I enjoy more, but I could watch it. It's at the very least a time waster. And the way it ends, there was no point for a sequel. It ends as well as it could. He has his new family. He's got Brandy. He even got a dog. There's Christopher Walken. There's Adam Beach. There's the girl at the Alligator Farm who's down in love with Christopher Walken. They outraced Kid Rock. They're blaring this car that Joker's been wanting for a while. Gets his dream car back. And it did perfectly fine. So why we needed a sequel that was what, on Crackle? And sequel that did nothing, no one fucking remembers they even got a sequel. So go figure on that. So as it is, I have fun with it as a time waster per se. It's just there's a lot of jokes. I'm like for example, there's a bit where he's working and he's gotta fix his hot air balloon, but it gets loose and he's drifting away, and he sees a plane, and he looks up and the pilot is mooning him. I say, well, that's not really professional. It's one of those like, okay, so the joke is that this guy just randomly mooned his ass, and what a pale white ass it is. I don't know, just like, okay, cool story, bro. Don't tell it again. Just okay. What am I supposed to say about that? Yeah. So, take that for what you will. But with that said, thanks for watching. Take care, and we'll see you guys later. Bye bye.